You ready for your vet visit? Yeah? You ready for your vet visit, mister? Yeah? You don't look too happy. You don't look too happy about this. Hey, you're okay. Chill. Chill, mister. I know, you don't want to see the doctor. I know.
A storm, it sounds like.
Yes. So this has been an ongoing issue. He's nervous. It's okay. This has been an ongoing issue for quite a while now, and the first two times that we have addressed this issue, the doctor is telling us that he's allergic to fleas, and
And
I,
that is
I
very
understand.
common, yeah.
Right. Okay, it's not that I don't disagree with that, but the issue that we're having in the two homes that he's in is that it's okay, buddy. It's okay. He does not like the comb. But did you see how much? Oh, on that comb right there. This is the one. It's okay. It's okay, buddy. All that hair. You're okay. You're okay. See how temperamental he is?
Mhm.
Um, so the issue that we're having is that in the two homes that he stays in regularly,
Mhm.
there's never evidence of fleas in them. We have we've never witnessed a flea in the home, and we've never seen a flea on him either.
Okay. And where do you think he's the itchiest?
The base of his tail. That's where he chews
It's
it.
fleas then. Because that really is the. There are some dogs where even a single bite, that is the allergic reaction pattern for a dog that's sensitive to the proteins in that flea bite. So I get bit by a mosquito, nothing happens. But my wife gets bit by a mosquito, and she has a huge histamine release in response to the protein that's in that mosquito bite. And so for some dogs, it's enough to even get bit one time where they end up having trouble there. But if you're seeing him itchiest from the belt line back, worsening as you get towards the tail base, that one almost universally is fleas, and especially in Humboldt. There's really not much else that ends up doing that.
Resume? Oh yeah. What is your opinion on like the vet CBD? Yeah, the
I
CBD
I
oils.
think this sometimes can mellow them out, but it shouldn't really help with itchiness or anything like that.
Okay.
I think if you're picking something for itchiness, then an omega-3 supplement is usually what I end up recommending as far as like supplements go. So that can be like something like salmon oil, it can be coconut oil, it can be flaxseed oil. Those are all reasonable sources of omega-3 6 sort of stuff. Um, this has some roles, but I think that usually the ones where I tell people to do this is for like a little bit of mellowing, so a little bit of
Right.
sedation, fireworks, things like that, joint pain, those kind of problems. But I think for skin inflammation, that's
That's not
not
going to be
usually one
beneficial.
where I see it making a difference. Um, it's possible that he could have some component of some food allergy, and one of the things that I usually tell people to end up doing is that um, you can pick something with a single protein source. So you pick something that's beef, chicken, duck, one of those, and you stick with it and see if he does better on one of the protein sources. I know the food industry blames grains and things like that,
Right.
but from an immunological perspective, 85% of the dog food allergies, the antibodies that they actually have to allergy kind of portions, are to a protein. And so the foods used to be a lot worse when there were all these grains and things like that, maybe like lower quality. But the actual allergic component for dogs historically has always been protein. It's just they they did a good job marketing. So there are still dogs that are reactive to grains and things like that, corn, wheat, flour, those kind of problems. But it's only about 10% of the food allergic
Crude
dogs.
protein.
But
Well, okay, so for instance, now the food that we give him as far as the canned food, um, is this the Mighty Dog? Is that okay to is that a good
well, I would pick something. Don't have to throw out or anything like that if you have stuff. But usually I have people try to find a limited ingredient diet over the counter. And for a little guy, it's not too bad because he doesn't eat that much.
right?
So like Natural Balance has some like over the counter like limited ingredient diets, and that's probably what I'd have you try. But I do think for tail-based stuff, if that's where he's itching the most, then trying to treat for fleas is the most important. Do you have him on a month-to-month like oral flea med?
No, we just did the Comfortis
Yeah.
those few times.
How does he do when he's on that?
He did fine.
Yeah.
And then when the 30 days is up, he usually would start itching again.
Perfect. So that's kind of proof in even the med dosing.
So what you're saying is that, so with Komet or in other dogs, the flea jumps on him, bites him, and then it jumps back off of him. It doesn't have any, it doesn't stay on him.
Not necessarily, but even one bite is enough to end up triggering that kind of response. And some dogs are good enough where they crush it, they get rid of it, they scratch it off. Like that does happen. And you know, even with just the comb through that you did here, that's something where he doesn't have a huge burden. But for some dogs, we never see one. And then the proof that there's a flea allergy there is, do they do well on Comfortis? And it sounds like he does. So, because there's not really an anti-itch portion of Comfortis, there's only a flea killing portion of that med. So, if he did well on prednisone or something, that'd be a little bit different, because that addresses all the different forms of itchiness and things. But if you've got a guy that does well on the 30 days he's on Comfortis, and then once he's off, he goes back to itching, that should be because he's getting some things that are
beneficial to him. Yeah.
Because most of the other allergies, well, all of the other allergies, food and environmental stuff and contact allergies, shouldn't improve at all if you give Comfortis. So if he had one of those other big kind of categorical kind of allergies, you'd be expecting him to be absolutely the same after giving Comfortis. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And so we should just get him on the Comfortis for the rest of his life, basically, then.
Well, at least, you know, I do think it decreases during the winter and things like that, but it's still one where, at least for, you know, you can use that one for a couple months in a row, and most of the time, if they're not picking more up outside, or during travel, or one house has more than the other, or something like that, if you treat for 3 months in a row, and he's the only dog in that environment that could be the source, and there's no cats or anything like that,
cats in either place,
then that's one where usually after 3 months you can get that life cycle pretty well under control. And so sometimes treating for 3 months in a row is what you have to do, and then after that they can do well for a while until they find another. Let's see. Let me have a listen to your comment.
Mister, let him listen to your heart. You're okay.
We're just gonna have a little listen.
He's so nervous.
I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna just get you a little towel and I'm gonna pick you up. I know.
You're okay, mister.
I'm doing surgery after this. So
alright. Oh, are you really?
I know. Good boy.
You're okay, mister.
Okay, I thought you'd be better. Have a smell? Have a smell? You check it out.
He's like, no, that's okay.
How old is Komet?
He turned 4 July 3rd of this year.
Okay, still a puppy here.
Yeah.
That wasn't too bad, huh?
He's got a personality of his own, that's for sure. He's had to have his anal glands expressed 3 times now in the last 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Is that not normal, or is that not uncommon?
It's not uncommon for little dogs, but you can try adding some fiber to his diet and see, hey, settle down. You do better if you're picked up.
Right. Right. Yeah, he doesn't like to be messed with.
Rolling with me. You just don't like being down on the table. Huh? The
fiber.
So like a little bit of canned pumpkin, tablespoon, and you can give it as a treat. Most dogs do like that. But bulking up the stool a little bit, sometimes that'll let them express those anal glands on the normal bowel movement. They're supposed to express with a normal bowel movement.
Right.
But with little dogs, sometimes that duct is crimped or it isn't quite normal anatomy because this is no longer a wolf. So sometimes we do end up getting some changes just because the smaller dogs end up having trouble. Like you look who's in for anal glands, it's Chihuahuas, little terriers, dachshunds.
Gotcha.
It's very rare to see a lab or a Rottweiler in for anal gland expression. Like that
it's a big dogs don't have. You're okay. Okay, so adding fiber to his diet. So you suggest. So you would suggest.
Oh, I should have done this first, huh?
Right. Yeah.
I think like a dollop, a $50 size amount of some pumpkin with each meal might help him to to espressos. It doesn't always work, but that's an easy change you can end up making. So
Okay.
I don't think that will hurt anything either. It's just insoluble fiber for the most part that's in there. So
Gotcha. Wow, he ate your treats. See, that's another thing. He's so picky with treats.
So I think this has some place, but I don't think it's necessarily
Beneficial for the
itchiness.
allergy or
I use
itching.
this a lot for seizures and things. I don't mind people trying it for those kind of things, just to kind of lower the threshold of those kind of problems. But that one for skin stuff, I don't think that ends up making too much of a difference there.
Gotcha.
What do you think?
Well, the last question was another thing that I've noticed a change in him, and again, this could be something that's normal, but he's been shedding a lot. Like, it's everywhere, in my car or my sofa, which is okay. I expect that, but the first 3 summers, he didn't shed. He shed a little bit, but he's like shedding tons.
Yeah. Well, I think that's another one where most of those products that you can buy online and things like that are anti-shed kind of products. You know what they have in them that probably makes the biggest difference?
What's that?
An omega-3.
Oh,
so
really?
Try
Fish
a
oil.
little bit. So you don't want to give them too much because they'll get diarrhea if you give them too much fish oil, coconut, or flaxseed oil. But like a couple drops is usually enough, and you can add that in with the pumpkin and see if it helps anything. But I think if you do that and you control, if the Confortis does work to control his itchiness back there, I think his shedding probably will go down. Because the hair follicles do get ejected. They go through telogen, that ejection phase, more readily if there's inflammation in the skin. And that's why if you go to like Old Town or something and you see some of the Travelin dogs walking around, their back end is hairless. And it's not just because they chewed it out, it's because the chronic inflammation in that skin on the back end of
it's causing them to lose the hair.
Yeah, so they have a flea allergy uncontrolled, and they end up popping out some hair follicles too. So that I don't think Ninekirk was wrong on the. If he had foot problems or ear problems or facial pruritus or something like that, then we look for one of the other causes. But in that spot in Humboldt County,
It's just
I put
given.
all my dollars on it. I don't bet. Like I don't go to the casino or anything. I could go to Vegas and not lose.
Well, I still feel good about getting a second opinion, and now I think I do understand that a little bit better. How you
and I think
explaining
especially
that.
if on the months when he's on it, he seems to do well. I think that's proof in the pudding there. So.
Right. Well, you've been very helpful. I appreciate your information.
I know Komet doesn't really like me, but then
right.
Hopefully that is helpful. So, and do you give him a steroid? That's I think I saw it this morning when I was looking through his charts that I hadn't seen before. It looked like he had some steroids before. Temerol P is a steroid. It's like a little blue pill.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. So this is okay to give if he's on Confortis, but I would not recommend giving the steroid unless he's still itching and he's on the Confortis. Because this will work for allergies. This is essentially, it's not prednisone, but it's a steroid like that combined with an antihistamine that would be like Benadryl or Claritin in one. And so it is a good medication for allergies and itch. But if his underlying problem is that, he's getting bit occasionally by a flea, Confortis might be able to solve that without you subjecting him to this. Because this one, just like for humans, if you don't have to take a steroid, you shouldn't, because it can cause a GI ulcer, it can cause liver inflammation, kidney stuff, heart stuff, lots of different possible side effects. And at this dosage, this is what he says.
He's on his day 4 now, so I'm giving him one more half pill today, and then he just does a half a pill each day after that.
Yeah. So at that dosage, the chance you're going to end up with a problem is
he's just going to itch again.
Yeah. Well, and once you stop it, I think that's so having this for if he's on Confortis and he's still itchy, using this at the lowest effective dosage for a little taper is probably a reasonable thing. But you don't have to give him this. I wouldn't normally recommend that.
Okay, well, I guess we probably should have just stuck with her original, what she said the very first time we went to see her, Miss Ninekirk. She had said he would just do fine on the Confortis, and when he didn't itch anymore, we figured the problem went away.
Yeah.
But
well, it probably was.
Right, just temporarily.
Hey man, this is Case Closed, and I just been feeling real bad lately, cause I see you seeing me do my thing, and I just wanted to dedicate this song to you and say that I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I'm on my grind. I'm so sorry that I got my shine.